Internet cousins, we are back with another episode of Rewatch Culture. And today we're talking about episodes 7 and 8 of A Different World, Season 2. So picture this Hillman University. The girls are out here trying to step, Dwayne is out here trying to date, and Miss Pruitt is 92 years old and still reading People for Filth. I mean, cover to cover. Let's talk. Episode 7. The girls are learning the step routine, and let me tell you, it is not looking good. Arms are everywhere, just flailing in the air. The kicks are off, feet are doing whatever they want. And Whitley has the nerve to say, because we're steppers, not strippers. Miss Ma'am, now where did you get that from? None of these moves were giving stripper moves. They were giving awkward and I have no rhythm. Freddie, trying to learn these moves, had me cracking up. When I tell you that Cree Summers' comedic timing was immaculate, you can just tell that she was having the time of her life filming this show. She committed to every awkward moment, and I really believe that this girl had no rhythm and could not dance at all. Meanwhile, Dwayne lands a date out of nowhere. Okay, I did not see this coming. Where did this girl come from? But he's macking on her and she's macking back. They're vibing. And again, Dwayne is not an ugly man. He's just corny as hell. Dwayne and this girl were in the pit and they're talking about the bonfire that's tonight and how they're going to meet up. So Dwayne is so excited. Walter comes in and ruins his high. He asks him for a favor and Dwayne's like, nope, can't do it tonight. I got plans. So what does Walter do? Walter pulls out a notebook of all the things that Dwayne has done. So Dwayne owes him. There was stuff on this notebook that he pulled out about Dwayne like breaking in and breaking his stuff and just doing real ratchet college age stuff. So basically, Dwayne needed to do this favor because Walter had a whole lot of dirt on him. And that right there is a petty friendship. And in that moment, I respected it because, hey, Dwayne, didn't just last episode I had to take you home and you messed up my mac and time with Jaleesa because your ride didn't work out and I even gave you money for the bus, but didn't end up taking the bus either. So the girls are getting ready for Miss Pruitt to show up, and Miss Pruitt is the oldest living alumni of this college. She's 92 years old, and she's absolutely unfiltered. Okay, the lady is actually downright rude. She said, Jaleesa, what kind of name is that? And Whitley in the background is sucking up. She's like, I've always thought that myself. Jaleesa tells Whitley that she acts just like Miss Pruitt and Whitley takes that as a compliment. Girl, it is not a compliment. Miss Pruitt was rude. I understand being unfiltered, especially at that age. You know, you're going to talk how you want. And honestly, who's going to check you? Absolutely nobody, because we were raised to respect our elders. I'm going to let you say what you want to say within reason, of course. But why were you coming at everybody so hard? I just didn't understand that. So the previous favor from Walter is for Dwayne to tutor one of the guys on the team who's playing football. If he doesn't pass his math test, then he can't play in the big championship game over the weekend. Dwayne is struggling to tutor, okay? This guy, he's just not getting it. And he's a super sweet guy. He keeps talking about how he's right brained and he's creative and he wants to write poetry. And Dwayne is trying to break down these math equations to him and it's just not working. And at one point, the guy lifts Dwayne up in the air. I swear on my life, I thought he was going to throw Dwayne against the wall. Dwayne's face, like mouth gaped wide open for a while because I think he saw his life flash before his eyes. Honestly, I saw his life flash before my eyes, if we're being real. But at that moment, it's like something clicked in his head and he finally figured out how to break math down to this guy in a way that he would understand. He broke it down in football terms and it worked because then the guy got the right answer and you were just so proud of him in that moment. That's growth right there. Not everybody learns things in the same way, and a good teacher can figure out how to make something make sense to you. I have it all the time at work where people will try to explain something that's technical and they break it down to the guy who maybe works with cars at home on the weekend. They break it down to him like that, and then all of a sudden it clicks. If somebody's not understanding something, don't just give up on them. Try something else. Whitley, on the other hand, Whitley wants to win this step competition, and she is being so rude to Freddie. Freddie is just not getting it. She's not getting the moves. She's clumsy, but she is trying her hardest. Jaleesa is working with her, and Freddie is giving it 110%. But Whitley is so rude to her. So nasty, so rude. And Jaleesa said, "Not on my team," and kicked Whitley off the team. And honestly, I was proud of her. She stood her ground and refused to let Whitley bully Freddie. And I think Whitley was kind of surprised that Jaleesa was not going to play that with her. And I don't know why she was surprised, because Jaleesa has always had a very strong personality and she's always going to do what is right. And sorry, she's never going to let you play in her face. The girls are in the pit, and the other step team comes in and does their routine. Honestly, they were good. They said, "You guys can have this step because it's a throwaway." Honey, if that was a throwaway, I would have hated to see their real routine. So, of course, then the other girls are like, "We need Whitley back. We don't even have the steps completed for the end of the routine." And Jaleesa's like, "No, I'm not going to get her back. What do you mean?" Here's the question I have with that. Do you stand on business or do you want to win? What takes priority for you? I would have had to stand on business. Or, you know what? If y'all want to win, you can win without me, because I just don't respect how she was treating our teammate and our friend. But before Jaleesa has a chance to talk to Whitley, Miss Pruitt comes in Whitley's room, and she's still just got this attitude about her. And something shifts for Whitley and gives her perspective. And I think she does see herself in Miss Pruitt and maybe sees, is this the kind of life that I want to live? Miss Pruitt has never been married, which nothing wrong with that. If you don't want to get married, that's cool. That's your business. But it's like, does Miss Pruitt have any friends, or has she just kind of kept people at arm's length her whole life? And I think Whitley is honestly thinking about that, because by the time Jaleesa comes to her room, Whitley is like, "Of course I'll be back on the team." And she's like, "And I think I owe Freddie an apology as well." Honestly, Jesus must have been coming back, because we never thought we'd see the day where Miss Gilbert took the time to realize she owed somebody an apology. It was just like being snarky and sassy and shady was her personality, and everybody else needed to accept it. The girls finally come through with their step routine, and Freddie, oh my God, her improvement was night and day. Homegirl found rhythm, she found confidence, and she found personality. They all looked so good out there, and I was so proud of them. And our guy that Dwayne tutored, he passed his math test, but he was so excited that he passed that when he ran out of the building, he fell and was on crutches. So he couldn't play at the end of the day either way. But life is about more than sports. Also get that education, because you're not going to be 95 playing football. What else can you do? Just, have a backup plan. Nothing wrong with having a plan A, B, C through Z if you want to. All right, y'all. That wraps up episode 7. Now let's move into episode 8. Episode 8. Suzanne is the girl from last episode that Dwayne was talking to. I don't remember if they said her name in last episode, but I didn't catch it until this episode. And apparently, she and Dwayne have been dating for 3 weeks now. She really likes this man for who he is. And good for Dwayne. There's somebody out there for everybody. Now, Walter and Ron are clowning him for being in love again. Sometimes they were shadier than the girls, let's be for real. But Dwayne swears it's different this time, because this girl actually likes him back. We get to Dr. War's class, and Dwayne answers a question correctly. Now, this is after his buddy, and I don't want to use the word buddy. I think it's more of his rival, is up at this chalkboard, absolutely struggling. Dwayne gets up there, makes the correct answer, and then he crosses his arms, acting like he's the man. And Dr. War is like, what are you waiting for? Go sit back down. You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of in Love and Basketball, when Sanaya Lathan finally did good in one of the practices, and she made her shot, and then she stood at the end of the court with her hand up, and the coach was like, "Oh, since you think you're so cute, you can spend the rest of the practice in that position." I had secondhand embarrassment for my girl. But back to Hillman. As Dwayne was up there talking about like how the equations met and all that, The math was mathing in a way that went right over my head. He could have been speaking a foreign language. Okay. Wasn't for me. Math has never been for me. As I've told y'all many times, I know if you're stealing from me, and that's about it. Once they added letters into the equation, it was a wrap. Dwayne is down in the dumps because Dr. Ward kind of let him have it. Like getting a correct answer in my class is the bare minimum. And honestly, Dr. Ward is right. You should be getting the answers correct. You don't get a prize for getting the answers correct. You're supposed to be learning and doing your best. Dwayne and Suzanne are walking home after class, and he's kind of in the dumps, and she's trying to talk to him about it. Now, up until this point, she had been not letting him walk her home. When it came time for him to walk her home, she always had an excuse or she had to run out. This time, he finally walks her home. She runs inside, and the next thing you know, Dr. War, Colonel Taylor, comes outside, and Dwayne's like, oh my God. Suzanne is his daughter. He's like, what have I gotten myself into? Dwayne is completely in his feelings. He's down at the pit. Just put the man out of misery at this point. But he's down at the pit, and Ron and Walter are talking to him, and he's letting them know that, hey, Suzanne is Dr. War's daughter. Ron's advice for him is dump her or die. We'll get to that later. Dwayne proceeds to act like a complete jerk to Suzanne. And honestly, Suzanne was better than me because she just let him know you're acting like a jerk and she left. I probably would have cursed him clean out in front of the pit, which is not the best thing to do. Toxic, I know, but that's what I was feeling as I was watching it. Because who are you feeling like to be speaking to me in this manner and treating me all kind of crazy? But Freddie, again, is all in her feels because she wants Dwayne to notice her, and people keep calling her cute. She doesn't want to be cute. She wants to be seen as sexy. She asks Whitley to give her a makeover. And of course, at first, Whitley can never just do anything straight off the bat to be nice and kind. She has to give you the runaround, and you have to convince her. But then she agreed to give Freddie a makeover. She gives her this makeover, and they come down the pit. And honestly, Freddie looked good. Okay, very well put together, but Freddie didn't look like herself. And Freddie sees Dwayne, she sees him down in the dumps, and she sees that he's hurting, so she goes over to talk to him. And in this conversation, she realizes that Dwayne is in love with Suzanne, and she needs to let him go. And she needs to be herself and go get that taco that she's been thinking about. Freddie is not meant to be a mini Whitley. After this conversation with Freddie, Dwayne sees the light and he decides to put on his big boy pants and he goes to see Colonel Taylor to tell him that he's been seeing his daughter. And Colonel Taylor actually respects that. So he leaves the room. He's like, let me go get Suzanne so she can talk to you. They talk. Then they start kissing, and this has nothing to do with anything, but their kiss and the way their head was moving was just so awkward. So I was very happy when Dr. Ward came back out and was like, God, my eyes. But then he invites Dwayne to stay over for dinner. Look at Dwayne grown up and facing his fears head on. That's what we needed him to do. That is episode 8. Now let's get into our line of the week. I'm actually choosing 2 this week because they're both so dramatic and just too good to ignore. First one, of course, comes from Miss Whitley Gilbert. Y'all already know the vibes over here. When she said, we are steppers, not strippers, I had to pause. Girl was always dramatic for no reason. Nobody looked like a stripper. They looked like a baby deer that just learned how to walk. A fawn. Legs just everywhere. They definitely didn't look like strippers, okay? And line of the week number 2 goes to Ron Johnson. Dump her or die. Sir, get out of my face with this Apollo. Again with the dramatics, Ron is deep in his hoe phase and already on to the next one. So of course he would encourage Dwayne to dump the girl because of who her father was. No, you should have told your friend to stand up and grow a pair. You like this girl. Fight for her. Now on to our rewatch revelation. Freddie really tried to become Whitley's clone. The hair, the heels, the skincare routine, the outfit, honestly, the whole aesthetic was Whitley 2.0. And listen, imagine having to wake up every day and perform a version of yourself that isn't even you just to get someone's attention. That is not sustainable. That is not joy. That is not authentic. But then after talking to Dwayne, something unlocked in her and she's like, you know what? I'm going after the taco I wanted. I did all this and the man I like don't even want me anyway. He is into somebody else. So stop pretending. Stop contorting yourself to be in somebody else's mold. Literally be who you are, because guess what? Everybody else is taken. If you find yourself in love, in lust, or somewhere in between, the other person should want you, and I mean the real you, not the costume you put on in hopes that you will get chosen by somebody. Honey, you do the choosing. You don't need to be chose. Freddie didn't need to be Whitley. She needed to be Freddie. And once she remembered that, she went after her taco, and the girl had a smile on her face again. She was no longer about to break an ankle in heels that she couldn't walk in. So that's episodes 7 and 8, Internet Cousins. So stay true to yourself, and I will catch you on the next rewatch. As always, thanks for watching. Bye.